I don't really like war. I don't encourage it. I don't encourage this sort of nastiness. I think we should be looking for peace, and we should be talking about peace as much as possible. However, I think when a vicious country invades its neighbour and bombards its neighbour's civilians with missiles, it is perfectly legitimate for us to support that country, to support Ukraine when it requests it, to arm Ukraine, to give weapons to Ukraine, even if these are F-16s, 61 F-16s, which the Netherlands and Denmark intend to donate to Ukraine. Now, Russia has threatened that this is going to escalate the war. And there will be people in the comments section who will say that we should not give weapons to Ukraine because this perpetuates the war. The implication there is that Ukraine should simply put its head down and be defeated. And that seems entirely wrong. If somebody comes into your house, if a burglar breaks into your house, is the response that you should simply let them take everything they want? No, you shouldn't. No, you shouldn't. They are thieves. They are burglars. That is what Putin is. Should we capitulate simply because it's a bigger country, because it's got nuclear weapons? Well, it should make us pause, but it certainly shouldn't make us capitulate. And the Russian propaganda here is why West get involved? Why would the West help Ukraine? Because the West can see that this was an aggressive action. And, of course, if Ukraine had said, please, walk all over us, we wouldn't have involved ourselves, I trust. So the idea that Ukraine's resistance was spearheaded by Boris Johnson is a nonsense. The idea that we should stand by and watch another nation being destroyed is a nonsense. And the idea that we should somehow or other participate or conspire in Ukraine's destruction so that that will make our world safer is a nonsense. Once Putin has finished with Ukraine, he will move on. He's already demonstrated that's what he does. He attempted to invade Georgia. Georgia effectively capitulated. He thought that was easy. Then he invaded Ukraine. That wasn't so easy. And why did he do it? Because his position at home was looking weak. All of this is about image. It's not about entitlement. He's not entitled to Ukraine. He's not the governor of Ukraine. He's the neighboring state, and Ukraine had surrendered its nuclear weapons to Moscow in return for Moscow's support and protection. Putin broke that agreement. Not only did he break that agreement by not providing protection, but he actively attacked. Now, I don't think there's anything that can justify that. The Vavin said the fact that Denmark has now decided to donate 19 F-16 aircraft to Ukraine leads to an escalation of the conflict by hiding behind a premise that Ukraine itself must defend the conditions for peace. Denmark seeks with its actions and words to leave Ukraine with no other choice but to continue the military confrontation with Russia. Well, that's part of the same Russian rhetoric, and it's false. It's utterly false. I would much rather we weren't donating weapons to Ukraine. But as long as Ukraine asks for them, I don't think we have any right to refuse. And Putin must be encouraged to stop. That's why, at the same time, I think we should be talking to Putin. I don't think there's any point in Mr. Zelensky talking to Putin, but we should. And I think this is why One of the reasons why sanctions are such a bad idea, first of all, they only affect the population, the wider population, and they affect us. We hurt ourselves by the sanctions drive. But secondly, the sanctions are a diplomatic tool breaking our relationship, breaking our access to Russia. That access is essential if we are to engineer a peace, if we are to persuade Putin that he is wrong.